Today on NewsWatch, President-elect Trump begins building. Find out who he's already picked for key posts in his administration and what his top priorities will be. Plus, wars and rumors of wars. You won't believe how much Russia is ramping up and why the Russian military has the world on edge. And a lot of help from their friends. See how this couple's dream of adopting a special needs child became reality after it once seemed impossible. Thanks for joining us for CBN NewsWatch. I'm Lori Johnson. Donald Trump is moving forward with his transition to the White House. He's now made 2 key White House appointments. And while he appears to be softening on several campaign pledges, he's standing firm on abortion and the Supreme Court. Gary Lane has the story.
Trump made the important announcement Sunday that Reince Priebus will become his chief of staff and Stephen Bannon senior counselor and top White House strategist. Priebus is the chairman of the Republican National Committee, a key Washington insider. By contrast, Bannon is an anti-establishment conservative, the former head of Breitbart News. Strange bedfellows? Trump released a statement saying, "Steve and Reince are highly qualified leaders who worked together on our campaign and led us to a historic victory. Now I will have them both with me in the White House as we work to make America great again." Also on Sunday, more anti-Trump protests. This time, immigrants rallied outside the Trump Tower. On 60 Minutes, Trump was asked about immigration and his pledge to deport those here illegally. He said first he'll focus on criminal illegals and then others.
After the border is secured and after everything gets normalized, we're going to make a determination on the people that you're talking about, who are terrific people. They're terrific people.
While Trump has indicated a willingness to talk about some changes to some of his campaign pledges, he's standing firm on judicial and Supreme Court appointments.
I'm pro-life. The judges will be pro-life.
Trump's campaign speeches were often interrupted with chants of "lock her up." Some rally attendees wanted Trump opponent Hillary Clinton jailed over her email and Clinton Foundation scandals. Trump pledged on the campaign trail to appoint a special prosecutor to investigate. But when asked about that, he said he wants to focus on his top priorities first.
I'm going to think about it. I feel that I want to focus on jobs. I want to focus on health care. I want to focus on the border and immigration and doing a really great immigration bill. We want to have a great immigration bill. And I want to focus on all of these other things that we've been talking about and get the country straightened away.
You called her crooked Hillary, said you wanted to get in jail. Your people in your audiences kept saying, lock him up.
Yeah. Well, she did some bad things. I mean, she did some bad things.
A special prosecutor?
I don't want to hurt them. I don't want to hurt them. They're good people.
The president-elect said he'll have a more definitive answer later. More announcements on some important cabinet positions could come later this week. Vice President-elect Mike Pence is now heading up the transition effort, covering job vetting and decisions on more than 4,000 executive branch positions. Gary Lane, CBN News.
Strong aftershocks continue in New Zealand after a 7.8 magnitude earthquake struck the country. Officials say at least 2 people have died. The quake caused damage in Wellington, which is the capital, even generating a small tsunami. New Zealand is sending military helicopters and a Navy ship to rescue about 1,000 tourists and hundreds of residents stranded in one coastal town after the quake cut off train and vehicle access. It also struck in Christchurch, a city in the south that was the site of a devastating earthquake that killed 185 people in 2011. President-elect Trump will face many difficult foreign policy problems when he takes office, with Russia being one of the most serious. The growing war of words between Russia and the West is spurring rumors of a new Cold War. That fear led to recent emergency drills where millions in Russia prepared for the possibility of a nuclear war. George Thomas brings us that story from Moscow.
This was the scene in Moscow and across Russia. as 40 million participated in the largest emergency defense drills since the collapse of the Soviet Union.
It's all over the television. You can feel it. It feels like tensions are rising.
From high school students in gas masks to hundreds in hazmat suits to Russian Marines rehearsing enemy interceptions. Polls here show half of Russia fears a new Cold War with the West has already begun.
Of course I'm worried. To be honest, I'm a little bit scared.
Much of the hysteria fueled by growing tensions between Russia and the West over the ongoing crisis in Syria.
Syria's army, backed by Russia's air force, has been pounding rebel areas of eastern Aleppo for weeks. But President Vladimir Putin defends his country's support, saying it's necessary to defeat Islamic militants in Syria.
We keep hearing Aleppo, Aleppo, Aleppo. Yes, but the thing is either keeping a terrorist nest there or crushing that nest while doing everything possible to minimize civilian casualties.
While polls show a majority here support Moscow's presence there, many believe the conflict has hurt their country's global standing. Add to that concern Russia's recent military action elsewhere. In early October, it moved a nuclear-capable missile system close to Poland and Lithuania, while holding several drills on its western border. Then, Russia released the first images of its new thermonuclear armed ballistic missile, dubbed Satan II. A government-controlled news agency touted the missile could destroy an area the size of Texas or France. Alexei Mulovanov is an editor of an independent Russian news website. He believes the military flexing is just saber-rattling, but understands why Russia's neighbors are worried.
If you keep a rifle at home, you know you have it, and you can use it if something happens. But if you go out on the porch with this rifle every day and parade it in front of everyone, people will start giving you strange looks.
NATO is taking notice, building up troops and other resources in Poland, Estonia, and Latvia to prevent a potential incursion by the Russians. The US and Britain also just announced plans to send planes and tanks to Eastern Europe next year, joining a 4,000-member ground force in the Baltic states.
While some say the war chatter is just that, chatter, others here have serious concerns about a new Cold War that feels like it is well underway. George Thomas, CBN News, Moscow.
British Sharia courts are now under scrutiny after they were accused of discriminating against women. 90% of the Sharia courts handled divorce cases resolving family conflicts within the Muslim community. Now, a report from Agency France Presse says those Islamic courts have refused to grant religious divorces to women who are victims of domestic abuse. And an open letter from more than 200 national and international women's organizations is calling to ban the system altogether. One spokeswoman said the courts are linked to the rise of the Islamist movement. It was reported that efforts to put a stop to the movement have already had somewhat of an effect. A man firebombed a church in Indonesia Sunday, the explosion injuring 4 children. It happened on the island of Borneo in central Indonesia. Police say the children, aged 2 and 4 years old, suffered burn injuries. The firebomb was thrown by a man riding on a motorbike who was later captured. TV footage showed him wearing a black shirt with the words "Jihad, way of life." It was the second explosion at a church in Indonesia this year. Another group of Iraqi Christians has been able to return home in northern Iraq, this time to a liberated village in Karamis. The church bell at St. Adai Church tolled for the first time in more than 2 years during a tearful Sunday service. ISIS damaged the church badly, lighting prayer benches on fire, desecrating a tomb, decapitating the statue of the Virgin Mary, and shattering glass throughout. But even as the congregation struggled to find hope for the future, they sang a hymn about the light of God, their priest reminding them, quote, "God is always giving us light to spread peace and love and rebuilding." Well, the moon appeared brighter and bigger than it has in almost 70 years on Sunday evening. It's what observers called a supermoon. It is reported that supermoons can be up to 14% larger and 30% brighter. The last time the moon was this close to Earth was in 1948. Observers say it appeared about 7% larger and 16% brighter than normal, and that it won't be this close again until 2034. Coming up, they're the most globally engaged generation ever. We'll show you how millennial couples are answering the call to missions around the world. Millennials are the largest generation in America now. They're also the least churched group in the country. But the negative statistics don't tell the whole story. As Caitlin Burke shows us, many millennials are traveling out of the United States to spread the gospel around the world.
Each new generation gets measured against their parents and grandparents in a number of areas, including faith. The difference for millennials is that they're growing up in an age of nonstop news and social media.
If you are 30 or younger, chances are your belief in God may be on the decline.
Millennials Gone Godless. A new study shows that young people are abandoning the Bible.
According to research, this generation scores low on attending church, praying, and making religion a priority. But it's not all doom and gloom.
When it comes to millennials, millions remain deeply committed and active in their faith. It's just they're doing it their own way, and they're uniquely equipped to serve on the mission field.
This generation is the most globally engaged generation we've seen. They're the most cross-culturally prepared generation. Many would call them the first globals generation. 2 out of 3 of them have passports already by the time they're university students. They're so globally engaged already, I think they're ready to answer the call to missions and to go.
Every 3 years, the Urbana Conference brings together InterVarsity USA and Canada. Students meet and investigate God's call to world evangelization. Urbana 15 Director Tom Lynn sees a growing interest in justice and compassion-related missions.
Millennials care holistically about communities, and so not just bringing the message of the gospel or the message of Christ, but living it out. So it's both word and deed, and we're seeing millennials much more interested in committing to these types of holistic mission.
Terrible on camera. Like when we make our video.
In 2014, couples Katie and Jeremy Daggett and Jacqueline and Jake Blair followed their passion for missions to Peru. They fit right in the Christian Urban Development Association, or CUDA, one of the organization's goals being to overcome cycles of poverty.
Christian urban development, that Christian word on the front end is really important. We do all of it because we believe what Jesus did 2,000 years ago is what gives us motive and purpose and really hope in this context where we see wealthy and poor in the same city, where we see someone who's doing really, really well, is very established, and then someone who's on the edge of dire poverty. So that situation presents some unique opportunities, and we try to address those with CUDA.
Jacqueline, Katie, and Jake also put their medical backgrounds to work in a local hospital developing a diabetes program. Jeremy helps teachers improve their reading program success by starting libraries in local schools.
One of the things that that looks like as the kingdom breaks in is that young kids read better and have better opportunities for the rest of their life. That's part of reconciliation for them, and that's part of mission work for us.
As all 4 use their skills to improve life for the Peruvian people, they individually focus on simply building relationships.
And when you look at Jesus' life and what he did and how he made disciples, he focused on a few guys and he poured a lot into them. And from there on, they changed the world, just a few guys. So when I think of my call to make disciples, I want to have a quality influence on a few people, and then those people can have a quality influence on a few more people, and then growth is then exponential.
And sometimes it means walking down the street, going to the market, running errands, going to the center of town, and trying to meet people. Sharing some of who I am, starting to learn who they are, and eventually moving that forward in terms of a sustaining and important relationship.
A commitment like this for a young adult brings a number of challenges, from starting over in unfamiliar surroundings to raising children away from family.
Being here, we've had to learn a new language and a new culture, and in reality, we feel very ill-equipped to serve the people here. And so really what happens is through our weakness, God's strength is shown. And when things happen for his glory, we know that it's him and not us.
I think one of the main ones is being away from family. Luckily, we have the technology to FaceTime or Skype with our family as much as we want and get to see them. Now that we have a child, and that is our parents' grandchild that we have here in Peru away from them, that does make it a little harder as well.
Despite the challenges, these couples remain passionate and hope to continue their call to missions.
I feel like God's call for us here could be the same call for any Christian in the world, and that is to be a part of God's mission of blessing people and bringing people to know him better.
Our prayer is for the kingdom to come and for God's will to be done here on earth as it is in heaven. Now we find ourselves in Arequipa, Peru, so our prayer specifically is for his kingdom to come and his will to be done here in Arequipa as it's being done in heaven.
Caitlin Burke, CBN News, Arequipa, Peru.
Up next, meet a couple who dreamed of adopting a child and see how the internet made that dream a reality. November is National Adoption Awareness Month, so we wanted to bring you the story of one family who went above and beyond with a little help from their friends and some strangers. Adoption can be a long and expensive process. Many couples hoping to adopt simply can't afford it. But as Charlene Aaron shows us, the internet offers unique solutions to help foot the bill.
Randall and Kelly Nichols knew from the time they married that they dreamed of adopting.
It's kind of always been.
Yeah, I mean, when we were dating, we talked about how one day we wanted to adopt.
After several years and 3 children of their own, the dream still remained. Initially, they planned to adopt a special needs child within the U.S. That all changed when they saw a picture of a little girl in China named Isla.
When I saw they posted her picture, and I knew this was our daughter.
Bringing Isla home, however, would be a challenge.
We did not have money for adoption. We did have enough for a domestic adoption, and that's why we kind of started there. But when we saw the cost that would be involved with an international adoption, we just thought, man, there's just no way we can do this.
While U.S. adoptions cost up to $26,000, an international adoption can run from $35,000 to $40,000. The Nichols tried various ways to raise the funds needed to bring Isla home.
We did a number of different things with yard sales, and we made T-shirts and sold bracelets and, begged our friends.
When praying about how to proceed, the Nichols turned to the popular crowdfunding site GoFundMe.
Hi, we're the Nichols family, and this is our adoption story.
We had to trust God for every dollar, no matter, what the dollar amount, and we knew that we couldn't do it alone.
GoFundMe allows people to contribute online to causes they believe in. There have been more than 3,000 adoption-related fundraisers in the last 4 years, raising more than $6 million. Their campaign started off slow, then began to pick up momentum. Friends, family, and even strangers contributed more than $40,000 toward their adoption effort, something both Randall and Kelly found very humbling.
What we saw was there were some people who gave multiple times.
Right. Sacrificially too, not like this is extra money that I can give. Like we're gonna go without something to give you. Like single mom, taking care of her mom and daughter, giving us $500 every time we turned around.
After an 18-month journey, the time finally arrived to meet their little girl face to face.
She reached for me. I wanted her to come to us when she was ready, and she reached for me.
I couldn't stop crying, and it was kind of hard to just be in the moment without, feeling a little bit out of control.
At their homecoming, supporters greeted them with love and fanfare, many calling Isla a celebrity.
There were probably 20 to 30 people at the airport when we got there, at 11:30 at night.
Signs and everything.
Yeah, just to celebrate.
The Nichols admit raising a child with special needs is challenging. Isla has a heart condition that has led to one open heart surgery, and she's set to undergo another procedure soon. Still, her parents say that all pales in comparison to having her as part of their family.
It's hard to think of it because the joy that she has brought us is so far outweigh the challenges.
Charlene Aaron, CBN News.
Operation Blessing is still on the ground, helping those that were hit by Hurricane Matthew in western Haiti. The cut-off community of Sudan received their first relief by helicopter since the hurricane hit, thanks to Operation Blessing. The team has also partnered with Little Footprints and Big Steps that is also providing relief to the people of Haiti, as well as helping abused and neglected children. Operation Blessing has provided food, medical help, and baby supplies, as well as 2 H2Go units that are portable chlorine generators to disinfect drinking water. The team is also training community leaders on how to use the H2Go system and is still delivering more items to other areas in Haiti. You can find out more about Operation Blessing by going to their website at ob.org. Well, that's it for now on CBN NewsWatch. You can find more of our exclusive coverage of the issues you care most about at cbnnews.com. We hope you'll join us next time. Have a great day, everyone.